Hi everyone!
Hello!
We're in Algodonales.
We've come for a thermaling course, haven't we?
The mecca of thermal flying for beginners, just to get some more hours and get a few more 360s going up hopefully, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Gonna do a knee.
So we've had 2 days of a lot of travelling and no flying because it's been so blown out and wrong.
We've also realised that there's not as many landing options as we thought there were, because at this time of year
It's all potatoes and wheat.
there's a lot of crop that we can't land on, but let's face it,
I'm facing it.
if we had to, we would.
Well, every landing is an emergency landing, isn't it? But yeah, it's just been a little bit tricky. That's why we have all the B-roll. Because, yeah, it's always been the wrong... There's different takeoffs in different directions, but it's just been a little bit wrong. We've been running around all the sites, seeing on the land, all the landings, all the takeoffs, and still... Hopefully today, maybe tomorrow's our last day, so we'll see.
Yeah. And the best lesson we've learnt so far is when not to fly, because
Patience.
there was a window yesterday where some people did fly, some bilugar, some
locals.
some local tandem pilots, and it's very tempting when you see people taking off that you think,
Maybe I'll go.
but we didn't, and we're glad we didn't, because it didn't feel right. So.
No, it's one of those. It's too strong, completely sideways to the launch, kind of thermic in the same way. They couldn't make it to the landing. There was some sketchiness on takeoff as well, and some scrapes. So you think, yeah. Welcome to paragliding.
Para-waiting.
You know what we're saying? We need to develop Speed to Fly to be an app. And call it, instead of calling it Speed to Fly, we need to call it the Para Waiting app, so that when people are on a takeoff, they could just download it and race each other and not.
The Para Waiting app would make it seem like you just join a forum and just sit there,
wait.
Para Waiting. Are you waiting?
I'm waiting. But it'd be cool actually, because then people could, like, let's say we have a group of 5 or 10 people here, we could do a race here. But also, we could be flying on the game with someone that is para-waiting somewhere else. Say, hey, how's your waiting there? Oh, great, I have about 10 minutes for another race. Let's go. That'd be funny. Throwing $1 million ideas in the bin every day.
What was it then?
It was okay. I think the instrument said 3 minutes, so...
Wow, that was a
Literally.
nice quick flight.
Little top to bottom. I mean, it was...
But you said it was bumpy and stable, and so I didn't get...
No, so stable means it's like high pressure. Maybe an inversion means there isn't big masses of air moving. But it does mean that if the little thermals that you have, they're just like small little pockets, little bubbles that just...
Pop off.
Pop off. And then you get a little bit and you think, oh, please, let's have 1 or 2 seconds more so you can turn in it. And then you kind of tried it and then it's off. And then you fall off and you think, if I try to search too much, you ended up losing height, and then you don't make it to the landing. But it wasn't too bad.
You did kind of look like you went straight out, but is that because you knew you probably weren't going to get much lift and you wanted to make it to the takeoff?
If you don't get lift on takeoff, and I didn't have enough glide to go to the side, not find anything, and still make it here, the only chance that you have is make it straight to the landing, and if you find something in the way, you can do it. If you don't find anything in the way, then you still can make it. So you don't have, on a stable day, you don't have as much opportunity to, because if you take off or a bit of strong wind or whatever, there's more dynamic lift, you can get up and then you can search. Yeah. But if you take off and you're going down straight away, there's no point if the glide isn't that great. So.
Cool.
You must be ecstatic.
Oh, it was good. How was yours?
7 minutes.
Yeah, I saw you and Pablo and everyone.
Did you?
Yeah.
You were watching.
Yeah, so it was a good takeoff, wasn't it? But you just came straight and there was nothing, was there?
There was stuff, but I just didn't want to get it because I nearly turned, but I just needed to know that I could get here. I was more concerned about getting here.
To be honest, there was stuff higher up, and then in the middle there was nothing, and then down here was stuff again, but it was a bit ratty, wasn't it?
How long have you been up?
1 hour 31 minutes.
What is? Getting higher than everybody else. Hey,
man,
nice. Give it a little vibe.
Thanks. It was good. I think I had got some good. Well, they know we got some good footage. The next day we went early on to the east takeoff. It was very cross. The meteor wind was light, so it was all about the thermals and how they shift the wind around, and it was quite tricky to take off. It's on tricky launches like this that I'm really happy that we do so much ground handling. And by the way, our long-awaited intermediate module is finally out, so you can check it out now. But Fabio and I still managed to take off, and even though there was lift in places, turbulent at first because the wind was coming across launch, we did end up finding a thermal. It wasn't super nice, but it was enough to start getting some height. And in general, this flight wasn't super comfortable. The thermaling wasn't necessarily hard. The thermals had a decent amount of strength, but it was quite bumpy. You know, they kept wanting to push you out, and they were a little bit erratic at times. So because I got so high on the first thermal, I tried to just explore the mountain a little bit and went to the west side, to the Poniente, but then came back and managed to get an even bigger climb in front of the east takeoff. So there you can see I tried to do the whole length of the mountain, just because I was waiting. I wasn't sure what everyone else was doing, and I thought, you know, I'll explore around here, see what's there. And then I got an absolute stonker. 2,300. Woohoo! so I thought I'll explore with that. At that point, I think I've been in the air for about an hour or so, so I thought I better use this for something. And then around here I was getting a little bit low, had my eye on a couple of landing options already. My original plan was to go to this village in front and then go over to Montegliano, but then Gemma came on the radio.
So we're getting retrieved, we're going to El Bosque. It's too thermic here for noobs, and he was 5 kilometers away, so he's going to try and meet us in El Bosque rather than trying to land here and get in the van with us, so we'll see how that goes.
To see if I could make it there, because it might be better to fly later on. So I minced around here some more because it was quite tricky to get up, and I didn't want to go on another big glide where I could get a lot of sink. So I managed to top up a little bit here and then kind of left again, this time going south. And again, found myself quite low. I wasn't really sure where El Bosque was at this point. I thought it was this mountain on the right, but it did seem too shallow without a clear takeoff, so I thought I might just well follow this valley and maybe I can get on top of these mountains on the left here. But yeah, I ended up doing the UK thing of sticking with something that wasn't very strong, that then over time developed to be a little bit better, and yeah, when it fizzled out I ended up just following the valley along. I didn't want to get too close to these mountains on the left because the wind was kind of blowing across them, so you could quite easily find yourself in a bit of a hole that was on the lee side of some of those other peaks on the kind of like upwind. So I ended up going to the valley a bit more, give it a bit more space, and then actually found a climb. So at this point I was getting quite tired and needed to go to the toilet. Didn't use my XCP system because I thought it was just a local flight, but this was like 2 hours in. And just as I came in front of El Bosque, I thought, ooh, that looks like a takeoff, and I managed to get a climb right on top of takeoff, which was quite cool. And then I saw 2 or 3 people that were waiting on launch just absolutely launch to the sky because they saw me like thermaling right in front. And then here, you know, the whole valley was going up everywhere, so I ended up having to find some sink. And then, even though these look like spirals, it was just gentle turns. You know, I was basically thermaling in the sink to just make sure I didn't bump into another thermal. So that was a nice little 20k flight.
Oh. You must be feeling pretty happy with yourself. How the hell did you manage to navigate exactly to the right side when you'd never set the coordinates in? And I know you had your Kobo, that's what it's called. They were asking me what your instruments were and whether we could track you on XC Tracer or anything. I'm like, no, he didn't have one of them, but he's got...
I'm happy that I spent half an hour downloading the maps with all the names of the places for you.
Yeah. Oh, so you did have a little bit of preparation in case you did, but cool.
Yeah. That's always good for landmarks and shit.
Yeah.
See you later, guys. Have a good one. So just want to say a big thank you to Wind, Samuel and Pinto, the instructors that came with us, and obviously everyone in the group was really nice. And Pablo also came to see us, and obviously last but not least, all of these lovely people on Patreon and YouTube memberships that support us. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye. Caballos, me.
Go say hi to her.
I've said hi already and gave him some apple.